ready? What up? Let's get to it. So I'm gonna talk about two topics today. Two things. The first thing will be the major keys to victory. No, scratch that, right? I'm gonna talk about Kevin O'Connell and the Carson Wentz situation, huh? And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm gonna expound more into it, but we know what's going on as far as the major keys to victory, man. Big game this week, as we all know, huh? You hear me? It's going down in Detroit Lions territory. Some may call it a must win. Bottom line is, this is an important game for many different reasons. Huh? Right, bruh? We're talking about the division. Every division game is important. Every division game is important. Correct, dog? I repeat, heavy, especially since the Bears just lost. The Green Bay Packers are the Green Bay Packers, but I still feel they are very beatable in my eyes, in my opinion. But everything's right there. The NFC as a whole, right? Very close, man. It could go either way. It could go either way. Heavy. Another aspect of it, right? Huh? The Minnesota Vikings, why don't they make this the game where they find and figure out their true identity, you know, what their true identity is as a team? Heavy, right? Why not let this be the game where they are ultra underdogs, right? Be the game they put everything together, figure out who they are, man, and turn their season around. For real, dog. Hands down, man down. I wonder why, baby. You hear me? Why not? Perfect storm, perfect aligning. Handle that business, man. Nobody giving you a chance. All the analysts saying you're gonna lose, right? A lot of people have given up hope. Minnesota Vikings fans, media, etc. People saying you're done. The season is over. Why not turn it around right now, right here? Heavy, baby. You hear me, dog? How could you not be turned up for this game? KOC, Jettas, the whole roster, man. The defense, Flores. How in the hell could you not be turned up for this game? A chance to go out there and compete and bring your A game and play Minnesota Vikings football, period, and see where you end up. See how it turns out. Injuries and all, your O-line banged up. You got defensive players out. All right, cool. Boom. Deal with it, baby. You hear me? Deal with it. That's why you get paid the guapino, the federale, the machismo, baby, the linguini, to make big time situations. Build your depth chart. Put your players in the best position as a play caller. I don't want to hear about injuries anymore from any Vikings fan. We understand how important Darisaw is. We understand how important Van Ginkel is, correct? But at the end of the day, you hear me, heavy, period, point blank, period, right? Doesn't matter. Look at the Niners. They 5-3? Injuries across the board. They got Mac Jones as quarterback. Roll Tide full of pride, but we know Mac Jones ain't like that in the NFL. You hear me, dog? Heavy. Look at what the Ravens did to the Bears. Huh? Lamar Jackson out. They beat the Bears' ass with Huntley. I repeat, Huntley, huh? You hear me, dog? Now, some may say the Bears are just being the Bears. That is who they are. It's been all the hype. They've really played no one, and that's facts. They've had an easy schedule, easy-ass schedule thus far, right? Heavy. The only real team they played is us. And you see what the Vikings did to them, period, dog. Hands down, man down. But they got an easy cakewalk schedule, huh? Heavy, man. And you seen them, I guess you can say, get exposed. But the offensive coordinator understood his personnel, huh? Changed his scheme, changed his play calling. Sometimes you have to change on the fly, and that's what KOC will have to do, man. You hear me? Period, dog. No way around it. It's up to KOC. It's on KOC. Boom. I know I said I'm going to get into the Kevin O'Connell, Carson Wentz first, so let's get there and get to it. We'll come back to that KOC shit later, huh? Round yonder. But was Kevin O'Connell wrong for not taking Carson Wentz out the game? You can look at it two different ways, in my opinion, right? Oh, yeah, two different ways, baby. The first way, I will say no, because at the end of the day, if Carson Wentz couldn't play right, Carson Wentz could have said, hey, coach, boom, I ain't ready. I can no longer go. I'm not going back out there. He could have refused, huh? He could have refused, correct? Hey, I ain't playing. My shoulder messed up. This is too much. I'm not risking the rest of my career, huh? You hear me, dog? Risking my season, But he didn't want to. He wanted to show his toughness and taking nothing away from the man. He's a tough son of a bitch. Tough son of a bitch round yonder. Do you hear me, dog? Heavy, homie. Huh? Ain't too many quarterbacks, young, old, first year rookies, huh? 10-year, 12-year vets. Ain't too many quarterbacks around the league, huh? Very few playing and being in that much pain. Period, dog. I stand on that 10 toes down. So if anything, right, I respect him for his man, his fight, his toughness, bro, his demeanor, heavy. One thing to take away from Wentz, if the Vikings players want to take away something, the JJ McCarthy's, right, the Brosmers, hey, my boy, he a tough motherfucker. I respect that, if nothing else. Heavy. You hear me, dog? And that goes a long way with me, in my eyes, bro. Heavy. And it should go a long way with y'all. You hear me, period, dog? Bottom line, man, I'm just being real. Dude come out there, put it on the line for a team he just was with, dog. Period, dog. So that shows you the energy he brought to Philly. He still didn't get his glory, but it's all right. But that shows you who he was in Philly. You hear me? Period, dog. Did he make a lot of mistakes? Does he make mistakes? Hell to the yeah. But the toughness he brung, the fight, determination, no matter what, even the confidence, even if at times it was false confidence, he brung that bitch to the city, you hear me, to the team on the field. Can't take that from the man. But everything else he did piss poor, it wasn't enough. Now, of course, never wish injuries on nobody, on your team, on the opposing team. No, that's piss poor there. That's bullshit. Heavy. You hear me, dog? That is not condoned ever. Injuries are serious, and we've seen how horrific injuries can really be, right? Some injuries players can't even recoup from, correct? So let's calm it down, man. Heavy, huh? I know how Minnesota Vikings fans are. Heavy, man, especially if a player performs badly. They tell the player he need to die. They say send racial slurs. So I know how some of the people, some of the humans, so-called good humans in the Minnesota Vikings fan base know how to act and have acted. You hear me in prior years. Heavy, homie. We know what's up. Let's not play around no more. Huh? You hear me? Let's be real, dog. Big SKOL here. SKOL Vikes win, lose or draw. Heavy, you know what it is, bro. For real. But let's go win. After the game, respect. But we come to win round this bitch. For real, man. Time to turn it up. Period, dog. But Carson Wentz had every opportunity to stand down and not play. He wanted to play. He was a soldier, a warrior on that field, through the mistakes and all. Once again, we salute him, respect him for that. So, no, man. One hand, no. Period. Can't blame KOC for that. Carson Wentz wanted to play. He stuck it out, fought through it. Heavy, dog. His arm didn't fall off. He wanted to be in the game. Bottom line, right? Just the bottom line. So that's one way you look at it. The next way, boom, KOC, you can say he is wrong for not taking Carson Wentz out. Because at the end of the day, I even asked a question during the game, during the live, right? We always making statements like, damn, dog, dude's hurt. Take him out. Everybody sees it. The whole world sees it, right? Take the man out. Put Brosma in, Now, I think, like I said in the live, I feel like KOC is really so caught up in his ego and his ego bullshit, and his arrogance, heavy, bro. You hear me? That he's directing it towards the wrong crowd, towards the wrong thing. Heavy, he needs to bring that ego and arrogance to the field when he's coaching, against the opponent. You hear me, dog? Straight up, no cap. Period. Bottom line. Yeah. But when it comes to making decisions for the betterment of the team, we've seen too many times KOC not do it. If it comes to play calling, etc. In this case, yeah, you can say he was wrong for not taking Carson Wentz out when the man hobbling around, getting beat up, getting banged up. Especially if he didn't take him out because his own selfish reasons, his own internal ego battles that he's facing, baby. You hear me, dog? His disappointment with himself, maybe because he's failed his team as being a play caller. You're 4 years in this regime, and he's still yet to coach a full 4 quarters. Period, dog. Heavy. He's a half guy, sometimes just a quarter guy. Ain't that piss poor? Ain't that some shit? Some real bullshit, you know? He's a half guy, period. First, second half, pick one, pick your poison, or a one quarter guy, period. Bottom line, heavy. You hear me, dog? You know? Now his defensive coordinator, Flores, is starting to get figured out as well, seems like, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But he's right here, very close, baby. You hear me? Huh? Yeah, I'm not gonna say he can be in the hot seat like KOC should be, but damn, bro. Damn. Everybody talking about pay him head coach money. Are you crazy right now? Nah, bro. Let's not speak too soon, act too soon like we seen the Minnesota Vikings organization and the Wilfs do all the damn time. You hear me? Whether it's signing players, keeping players too long, paying players too much guapino, i.e. Kirk Cousins. We've seen it too many times, damn near too many times, too many years. So guess what? You live and you learn, but the Wilfs have not learned nothing yet. Hawkinson making 17 mil, top 5 highest paid tight ends in the NFL, overpaid, underplays. I repeat, he's overpaid and he underplays, baby. Heavy, no cap. Do you hear me, dog? Point blank, period. Nowhere around this shit, man. Let's get it, bro. But KOC, like I say, is the head coach. He runs it. He says, sit down, you're out, dog. Sit down, you're out, dog. Period, bottom line. No cap, right? So he has the say so. He has the final say so. The fact that he let Carson Wentz throttle on the field, hobble on the field, go out there and play piss poor, especially after the bad decisions. You hear me, dog? He shouldn't have been starting anyway, in my opinion, like I stated in previous videos. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it should have been Brasma. Brasma, huh? Heavy, dog. Definitely second half. Boom. All right, bet you up out of there. Period, dog. Carson Wentz is not it. It's not it. He makes some great plays, but he's inconsistent. Still has a great arm at times, but he's inconsistent. Huh, homie? And for the amount of bad plays he has every game, week in, week out, for the amount of turnovers, stupid decisions he makes week in, week out, You hear me, dog? Nah, it's not enough good to outweigh the bad. Heavy, man. I'm being real here, around yonder. But KOC, yeah, man. You can say he did him dirty, potentially, period. You hear me? KOC was out of pocket and out of line. Heavy, if you feel that way or felt that way, The man should have been out of the game after the first damn cry. The man was damn near crying on the sidelines. You hear me, dog? What more do you need to see, KOC? So, yes, I believe KOC failed Carson Wentz, failed the team, his squad. You hear me? Period. Once again. He should have went with Brasma as the starter anyway, period. Now he's in a situation where he got to pick and choose. No, he's forced to make a damn decision. And once again, not ever wishing injury, not happy for a player getting injured, but this Carson Wentz injury forces KOC to make a decision. And you better hope, you hear me, dog? Hope and pray, dog, he makes the right one, correct? Heavy, homie. You hear me? That's what he better do, period, dog. Heavy. You hear me, dog? Two dilemmas. If JJ McCarthy comes back too early, you could risk another injury or a more serious injury, right, baby? If you play Brosmer, oh man, inexperienced, rookie, undrafted, so what? He could play a piss poor game. He definitely could against one of the best teams in the NFC, best teams in the NFL, some may say now, right? Everyone's saying the Lions are back. They're back in true form. All right, bet, boom. He could also come out and ball his ass off. Yeah, Brosmer could also come out and ball out on him for real. Then you talking about a whole new different dilemma, right? Not necessarily a bad thing, but a totally different dilemma, baby. Now it's is it Brosmer or McCarthy? Yeah, bitch, yeah. So what it's gonna be? Heavy. Bottom line is, yes, it can go either way. No, it's not all 100% on KOC, for Wentz getting injured and being out for the season, homie. Heavy. Should KOC have took him out the game when he was showing clear, evident injuries? Heavy. Hell yeah. No ifs, ands, buts about it. No need to debate about it. Period. Let him play too long. The man was hurt. The man was banged up. Period. Heavy. You know? It's what it is, man. The NFL, part of the business, been naive. You know, how will they move forward though? Will it be McCarthy or Brosmer? Next up, major keys to victory. I don't even really got to dwell into it too long, too hard, right? First off, who makes the big time game changing play? Which team makes the big time game changing play if there are any to be made or any made? Heavy, right? We know how this rivalry goes, right? We know how this rivalry goes, dog. Heavy. One team makes a big play, whether it be first half, a big interception, a big fumble, a big sack, whatever the case may be, dog, a big catch. Who makes the game winning play? Game changing play. How many of them are made? And do the Vikings make the majority of them? But that one big time game changing play. You hear me, dog? Similar to when we played them last year, the fumble recovery touchdown by Ivan Pace. The Vikings really should have won that game. But once again, KOC does KOC things. All right, you know what I mean? But that game-changing play, baby, you hear me, dog? Yeah. Who makes it? The Lions or the Vikings? Bottom line, that will be a major key to victory, and that will probably be the team which wins the game. Now, let's get to more. First off, we're going to start with the offense. Who's the quarterback, baby? Who's the quarterback? Huh? Brosmer or McCarthy, it's on KOC to put him in the right positions to perform at the maximum level. You know, if KOC continues to call plays, it's on him. You know, has he adjusted his scheme to fit his personnel, right? Has he inserted new plays in there to fit whoever his quarterback is, Brosmer or McCarthy, right? Has he adjusted on the fly like every other coach has to do at times, right? Now, you get some seasons where teams are lucky, their players stay healthy throughout the whole season. Boom, playoff time comes, they're healthy, ready to rock and roll. All right, bet, cool, boom, bet. But this is not the case for the Vikings, right? You know? And that's not realistic for the NFL game. You're going to face injuries. You're going to have battles. That's why it's important to build your depth chart, but also be able to adjust with your play calling. Heavy. Look around the league. Look at the so-called top teams. The 49ers are 5-3, huh? You hear me, dog? With no starting quarterback, huh? Heavy, bro. So I don't want to hear all that extra shit, right, man? You adapt, you adjust. Coaching the most important part of a team, you know? Heavy. Hey. Hey, so can KOC, right? Can KOC outcoach Dan Campbell and their defensive coordinator? Next thing, we got to get the run game going. Boom. That's been lacking. That's been lacking. That's been lacking. Heavy, homie. Huh? Early, dog. You know? It's been lacking. Been nothing there. Period. Heavy. Injuries and all, it must be better. And you must start early, homie. Huh? You got to start early, dog. Period. Yeah. You know? We can not only average 2 yards a carry, man. We cannot wait till the fourth quarter to start running the damn ball. No, man. KOC, you're going to have to lean on the run at times, homie. Lean on the run. Huh? You hear me? Even if you don't like it, I know you want to get aggressive. You get in that feeling, right? Oh, you're aggressive, homie. Oh, this, oh, that. Boom, boom. All right, cool. Bet. Run the ball. You know? 2nd and 1, goal line, red zone, run the ball. You know? Especially if you can't get and keep protection if your O-line is lacking. Quick game, huh? You know? Catch them off guard. Yeah, help your lineman out, your O-line out. Yeah, dog. Now, if it comes a chance, makes sense where you can hit him over the top, then boom, you maybe can insert some, you know, plays that take longer time to develop. You hear me? But get in rhythm, get it going. Set your quarterbacks up for success. I went into it in how to fix the Vikings, or can they fix it? Yeah, go check that video out, dog. You hear me, dog? Straight up, no cap. Huh? Period, man. Heavy. Come on, bro. The explosive power is still there. The weapons are still there. Come on, dog. You got Jefferson and Addison and Naylor and Hockenson. You know? How can you not produce? Why are you not producing? You hear me, dog? Heavy. You know? I ain't going to just sit here and blame the O-line and the quarterback. No. A lot of it was your piss poor play calling or lack of KOC, fucking up rhythm. One bad play on a good drive can ruin the whole drive, right? I repeat, one bad play on a good drive can ruin the whole drive, right? Second and two, you know, second and two, a bad play call, loss of yards, it can be second and 15, second and 10, etc., etc. A dumb penalty, mental error, false start, holding, something, whatever, I don't care. Clean it up, play clean football. Don't give them a fucking reason. Heavy, bro. You know? Period. But you have to take advantage of every drive, period. In football, every game, especially the NFL. You know, touchdowns are not promised. Period, homie. Heavy. Yeah, man. Bottom line. So get the run game going. KOC. Be a better play caller. You know, O-line and KOC's play calling. That's all really, that's the biggest issues on the offense right now. Huh? Heavy, man. KOC lack of play calling, piss poor play calling at times, right? And the O lineman's inability to run or pass block, you know, majority of the game. Heavy, man, early. And also has been a quarterback play with Wentz at times. So it's an overall team effort. Can they fix all this in 1 week? You hear me, dog? Heavy. You know, a mini buy. Yeah. Who are the Vikings really? Yeah. Are they contenders or pretenders? That may sound cliche, but we're going to find out Sunday. Heavy, bro. Oh, yeah. Are they pretenders or contenders? Once again, it may sound cliche, but we're going to find out on Sunday. For real. You hear me? No way around that. Heavy, homie. For real. Period. Because guess what? If not, if they're real pussy, they're going to get ran out of Detroit, dog. Easy work. But I don't think this team is pussy. You hear me? I think we got dogs, bro. For real. Just need to lock in. You hear me, dog? Physically, mentally, and spiritually, dog. You hear me, dog? Straight up, no cap, bro. Believe that, bro. Point blank, period. You hear me, dog? Straight up, no cap, dog. What's up, bro? Heavy. SKOL Vikes win, lose, or draw, but you know what it is. We come to win. Period, man. The fuck they talking about? Fuck going on around here? You know? Huh? Yeah, but those are the major keys for the offense, right? Defense, stop the run. I ain't got to say too much more. Stop the run, please, baby. Maybe running up the gut, getting gashed. You know the Lions with that elite O-line, they're going to try to bang you up, just like every other team you've played has done or has tried to do. You hear me? Heavy, homie. Huh? Yeah. You've had some good games, some bad games, huh? But you've been inconsistent, right? Yeah. And the only really good consistent player in the trenches on the D-line has been Redmond. Yeah. Shout out Red 6-1. Everybody else been hit or miss, hot or cold, you know? Heavy, bro. Straight up. We need consistency. Hargrave, right? You know? Allen. What y'all here for, homie? What y'all here for, my boy? You know, apply pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, right? Plug shit up. What y'all here for, man? You know, y'all ain't been just horrific, atrocious, but you haven't been played up to the expectations, in my opinion. You know, heavy, yeah. We need more consistency from y'all, dog. You hear me? It's gonna be a bang game, a physical game. Who gonna win? Fatigue, right? You know, heavy, bro. What's your mental fortitude? You know? War of attrition. Who's going to win and finish, dog, and continue to fight and claw? You hear me? Like I said in the previous videos, get the young boys involved, the Tyrion Ingrams, right? Yeah, the Taki Tamanis, Rodriguez's, whoever. The Patties, whoever. Baddies, bro. Whoever, dog. Get them in there. Heavy. Huh? You hear me? Dallas Turner, step up, man. Play better. Jonathan Grenard, expect the outside run, outside zone runs. They're going to try to hit you up the middle. They're going to try to hit you on the side, everywhere, man. They think they can come punk you out. Huh, homie? You know? They think your trenches are soft. So, yeah, prove otherwise, dog. Bitch, yeah. Huh? Come on now, man. Come on now, man. Stop the cap, baby. Believe that. You know? Just what it is, though, dog. The war in the trenches. Ooh, yeah. Got to stop that run first. Got to stop that run. Next thing, get pressure on golf. Bang golf up. like golf always does. You beat him up, bang him up, he'll give you one, maybe two. If it's a bad day for him, he'll give you a three out that bitch round yonder, huh? Yeah, dog. You hear me? Believe that there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know. But cause chaos for him, Flores. Heavy, you know. You can't just let him sit back there and pick you apart. Nah, can't do that. No, man. Can't do cat, right? Huh? We must apply pressure from the edge rushers and interior. You know, when you get there, attack, tackle, do your job, finish strong, 110%. Remember that, baby, 110%. You know, give extra every time, man. You know, period, baby. Huh? Yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Cornerback secondary. Guess what? You've been exposed 2 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, straight up being real here. So expect the Lions to open up that offense, huh? Heavy. You know, they got Williams back there. They got Amar St. Brown back there. The tight end is official. And them boys got players, man, all over the field, right? All over the field. You know, you hear me? Cornerback, secondary, safeties, bro. Yeah. Side note, like I said in the previous video, how to fix the Vikings. Josh Metellus should never be a safety. Huh? He is not a safety. He cannot play safety. His coverage is not good enough. No, his speed is not good enough. No, to play safety at this moment round yonder. For real, dog. He has no cover skills. His cover skills are piss poor. You know, he must work on those during this season, but also during the off season for next year. Yeah, huh? Yeah. That's why I was hesitant about how much money they gonna pay the man. You hear me? You know, everybody's so Minnesota Vikings nice. You see it week in, week out. The man can't cover. So boom, be better in coverage. The whole secondary, you know? Yeah, especially Isaiah Rogers and Josh Metellus. Huh. Point blank period, huh? You hear me, dog? Yeah. Tackle better, huh? Tackle harder, tackle stronger. A lot of missed tackles versus them charges, baby. Can't have it. No catch tackling. Wrap up, bang, boom. You know, bring the pain when it's time to bring the pain. For real, man. You hear me, dog? Straight up. No cap, huh? You hear me? Man, what? Yeah, yeah. hmm Special teams play clean football, block, receive, return, stay clean, be clean. You know, clean football, bro. You hear me? Heavy. hmm Yeah. hmm Come in prepared. Come in zoned in, ready to win. Huh? Believing you can win. Yeah, you hear me? Yeah. Communication is a major key, a major plus. Handle that business, that Vikings business, baby. You hear me? Heavy. Division game. Yeah. Zone the fuck in, Vikings. Go win. Period. Go show them who you are. You know what it is. Big SKOL here, SKOL Vikes forever. Win, lose, or draw, right? Yeah. And guess what? We run the North. Believe that. Yeah.